Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well after Game of Thrones is officially over. Now that the game has ended, I'd like to go in depth and analyze the ending of each major character arc. And today I'd like to talk about Jon Snow. You may have ended the episode yesterday feeling pretty confused and maybe a bit disappointed. Jon being sent back to the Night's Watch might seem like a horrible way to end his story, but my hope in this video is to give you the best silver lining possible. In Season 8, Jon Snow had 3 moral decisions to live by. Defeat the army of the dead, follow his queen, and confront his queen when she proved to be evil and unfit to rule. The first of these 2 decisions were easy for him in the fact that they were clear-cut with his honor. Jon rallied together everyone that he possibly could, and even famously risked his life to go beyond the wall to capture a white in order to convince Cersei to join the fight for the living. At the time, it was a matter of life and death, and he probably felt like this was a main purpose for his life. This was a battle for everything and everyone in the world, and he did such a good job to prepare for it. And when the battle came, he fought hard, and he was almost killed by an undead Viserion, but the living prevailed. Next, given the fact that Cersei left everyone hanging and didn't do a damn thing against the army of the dead, Jon's next moral decision was also easy. He had already bent the knee to Daenerys Targaryen and pledged the northern forces to her cause. Daenerys was ready to press her claim and march south, but not before Jon expressed to her that he had to tell his family his true lineage, which he ultimately did decide to do. One of the biggest constants of the series was Jon not wanting authority or to be the leader. He didn't want to be Lord Commander of Castle Black, he didn't want to be the king in the north, and he definitely did not want to be the king of Westeros.
You all crowned me your king. I never wanted it.
This did not help ease Daenerys' paranoia, and the events to her story played out as we saw. She executed Varys, disregarded the King's Landing surrender, and burned innocents numbering in the tens of thousands. We know how honorable Jon always was. It was the biggest quality that he took from his father figure, Ned Stark. He made a pact with his new queen, but he knew how horrible and evil the acts that she committed were. Cue the internal struggle of his life. In his mind, there is no way that he could ever betray his queen. He loved her very much, which had been obvious all season long. But as Tyrion said himself,
"Who is the greatest threat to the people now?"
Jon decided to let duty be the death of love. He betrayed his honor and Daenerys, and put an end to her very brief reign.
You are my queen. Now and always.
It truly split him into 1,000 pieces by the next time we saw him after his arrest.
Was it right? What I did?
And after this, Jon is then sent to the wall by King Bran the Broken to ease tensions between the Crown and Daenerys' ever-loyal forces. His story ends where the show began, with characters leaving Castle Black to go beyond the wall. To me, it looks like he just about instantly deserted the Night's Watch and joined the Free Folk to go retire beyond the wall. And if that's the case, no one would stop him from doing that. It's pretty universal that nobody believes that he deserved this. So if he really did desert the Night's Watch and move north with the Wildlings, that's an ending that Jon deserved. No more betrayals, no more massive responsibilities, no more putting his life on the line for everyone else. He would live out the rest of his days as a free man. Keep in mind that this is where he met his first love, Ygritte. He enjoyed living with the Wildlings, he fought for them, he saved them, and forged an alliance between them and the realms of men. One could argue that this would be where he'd be the most comfortable. What's even better is the fact that even if Grey Worm or anyone else that wants him dead find out that he left the Night's Watch, good luck. Marching in the now independent North would be an act of war. Given Jon's status in the North and the fact that Sansa is the queen, this would cause an absolute uproar. If they went by ship, the only place they could go is Hardhome. The Free Folk love Jon Snow, and they wouldn't give him up unchallenged. Plus, there's the fact that all of the land in the north and beyond the wall makes up the majority of Westeros, so it'd be like searching for a needle in a haystack anyway. When you consider all of these aspects to the end of Jon's story, He may very well have had the happiest end result out of all surviving characters. Now obviously, as I'm sure you know, the end of his story was very controversial for a couple of reasons. For one, what is the purpose of having a Night's Watch anymore? For thousands of years, they were the watchers on the wall to guard the realms of men from what lies beyond. With the White Walkers being extinct, and with the Wildlings having a positive alliance with the North, why exactly is this a thing? Tyrion stated that there still needs to be a place for cripples, bastards, and broken things, but this hardly explains the purpose. I mean, what would they even be doing up there? Another problem, which happens to be my biggest issue with this season, is why was it such a huge secret that Jon was a Targaryen all along when it didn't amount to anything? His lineage was the most massive kept secret for 2 decades. It was basically a nuke of a revelation when we first learned of it in Season 6. That scene also just happens to be one of my favorite scenes in the entire show. But now that the show's over, what was the reason for it? When it's all said and done, the only purpose I can see for his true lineage was the downfall of Daenerys Targaryen, which in my opinion, in a show of the unexpected, I believe that this was the one time where the obvious payoff of him becoming the king was the best answer. To keep a secret of this magnitude for 6 seasons and to find out that the only purpose of the secret was to be the nail in the coffin for another fan favorite character is disappointing to say the least. When you consider the bombshell of his lineage, I just feel that the only logical end result would have been for Jon to reluctantly take the throne. That being said, I do still believe that the ending that we got was satisfying if you're a Jon Snow fan. Unlike Bran, Jon does not have visions, but it was the ending that he would have wanted for himself. Even if he wasn't sent to the Wall, you have to imagine that he would have always wanted to return to the North and get away from it all anyway. For many of you, Jon was your favorite character, and I hope this analysis helps you feel a bit better about what happened to him at the end. Keep an eye out for my next analysis, which will be the conclusion of Daenerys Targaryen's character arc. Thank you for watching this video, and please be sure to like and subscribe.